Raya and Sakina Ali Hammam. They are the most infamous murderers in Egypt to this day. They gained notoriety by forming a gang, luring women, murdering them, and burying them in the ground beneath their homes after taking everything they had. This occurred between December 1919 and November 1920. At that time, Alexandria was gripped with fear, and women were afraid to leave their homes. Raya and Sakina grew up in Upper Egypt and later moved to live in Alexandria, in the north of Egypt. Settling there since the early 20th century, they engaged in illegal activities such as drugs and alcohol consumption and prostitution. They continued in these activities until they decided to shift to kidnapping women, slaughtering and robbing them, and then burying their bodies in the ground beneath their homes. However, Raya and Sakina were not alone. They had partners: Muhammad Abdel Al, the husband of Sakina, Hassaballah Said, the husband of Raya, in addition to two persons named Arabi and Abdullah. So they formed a gang consisting of 6 individuals. Their story began in 1920 in Alexandria, specifically in a neighborhood called El Laban, which was one of the poorest neighborhoods at that time. Egypt was under British occupation back then, so the government and the Egyptian people were focused on resisting and getting rid of the occupation. And by the way, this situation helped the gang of Raya and Sakina to thrive. After Raya and Sakina moved to northern Egypt, Raya married a person named Hassaballah Said, while Sakina worked in a brothel until she met Muhammad Abdel Al, fell in love, and got married. When they decided to start killing women, Raya suggested involving 2 individuals known for their criminal activities and the fear people had of them, named Arabi and Abdullah, and indeed, that's what happened. Raya and Sakina used to go to the busiest streets in Alexandria, offering some cheap goods to women, pretending to have more at even lower prices than the market. And of course, Raya and Sakina targeted specific women who were wearing significant amounts of gold. After luring their victims, they would lead them to the house where the rest of the gang awaited. Once their victims entered the house, they would be offered a drugged drink, causing them to lose consciousness. Then one gang member would cover a cloth or a towel with water and place it over the victim's nose and mouth, while another member would proceed to cut her throat completely. After ensuring the success of the killing, they would seize the victim's gold, money, and clothes, burying her in a pit beneath the house. Raya and Sakina would then take the gold and head to a specific jeweler they regularly dealt with after each murder to sell the victim's gold. They continued these gruesome crimes until the smell of the bodies started spreading within their homes. The first missing person report filed with the police was in 1920 by a woman named Zainab, who claimed her daughter Nazli had disappeared. Another report in the same year involved the disappearance of a woman named Zainab, with witnesses mentioning the name of Raya and Sakina. However, the police dismissed them from the investigation for unknown reasons. The third report was about the disappearance of another woman named Khadra. Raya and Sakina were again mentioned as the last people seen with her. As more reports increased at the police station about missing women, fear spread among the people of Alexandria, until the crimes of Raya and Sakina and their gang were eventually uncovered. The crimes of Raya and Sakina were exposed by a man named Muhammad Ahmad, who had rented a house previously leased by Sakina. This man decided to dig a hole on the floor of the house, thinking that the awful smell in the place was due to a broken sewage pipes. And during the digging, he was surprised to find human bones remains underground, so he immediately went to the police and reported his discovery. The police began investigating Muhammad Ahmad, the tenant of the house, When questioned, he mentioned that the house had been rented by Sakina. Additionally, a witness mentioned a strong incense smell emanating from Raya's house. When questioned about the regular use of incense in her house, Raya explained that her sister Sakina often drank with men there, so Raya used incense to mask the smell of alcohol. The police, unconvinced, searched her house and noticed displaced tiles in several rooms, along with the strong smells of rot. So the police officer ordered the military police to dig the ground in Raya's house, and as they dug, they found more bodies and human bones. Raya immediately was arrested and taken to the police station for questioning. While the digging continued, with each digging, more bones were discovered. Among the evidence that were found with the corpses were a picture of Raya with her daughter Badia, a stamp with the signature of Raya's husband, and some gold belonging to certain victims that were found in the houses of Raya and Sakina. Badia was a crucial witness in this case. She testified against her mother, saying that her mother and her aunt were kidnapping women to slaughter and bury them. On May 1921, Raya, Sakina, and the rest of the gang were sentenced to death by hanging. And the jeweler, who often bought the stolen gold from Raya and Sakina, was also sentenced to 5 years in prison. Notably, Raya and Sakina were the first women to be sentenced to death in Egypt, as there was a law against executing women before them. The execution was carried out 2 days later. According to a prison guard and an eyewitness, Raya laughed mockingly during her execution and showed no fear from her death. The rest of the gang were executed in a more conventional manner, except for Abdulrazak, who caused numerous problems during his imprisonment and was executed later. It was said that Badia, Raya's daughter, were placed in an orphanage. Unfortunately, the orphanage was later burned by unknown individuals, resulting in many deaths, including Badia. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, don't forget to subscribe.